Yo, we are back. You're listening to the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
Hey, what's up? I'm DJ Keo.
Let's get into the first story, man. Listen. Okay, Metallica, dude.
This is the most bonkers story I've seen in a long time. Because, like when you do these kind of conferences, this is BlizzCon, so it's for Blizzard and World of Warcraft and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They do a conference every year. So they did a virtual conference this year, and they invited Metallica to play music for the attendees they're watching online. And they had to replace the concert with elevator music so they get a copyright claim. So the band is like, "Yeah, that's cool. We're playing here for you guys." And they're like, no, we can't take it. This is we're in insane territory here with the copyrights. If the band says it's okay, it should be okay. That should be like a switch. We're like, yeah, we're good with it. Into that.
I was looking at this and I was like, well, wait a minute. Metallica was playing their own song.
Yeah.
And Twitch like shut them down because they didn't want like a DMCA.
Yeah, they went a copyright claim on their own.
But it was their own music.
We're in clown world right now when it comes to copyright. Like they've lost their minds.
Oh my goodness.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know what? I checked out the video because they have like, a little link to the video. So they started playing their song. And the next thing you know, they're like, you hear this elevator music. And the first thing I said, I was like, oh, actually the song that they replaced the original song with, I'm like, dude, there's some stuff in here you can sample up. You can chop that up, put it on a hip hop beat or something. But
yeah.
This is, this was only on Twitch, right? Because this was also live on YouTube as well, right?
I think so, yeah. Okay. And I guess YouTube let it go, but Twitch was like, no, we got to protect this thing. They cut it off.
Listen, man, Bezos, he's just like, dude, I am retired. I am not going to appear on the Hill, in front of Congress anymore. Mm-hmm. I do not care.
Oh yeah, Bezos is on an island somewhere chilling.
He's on it chilling, But here's the thing that really just trips me out a little bit about Twitch. Again, this is Bezos. He's like the second. I guess he's the second richest man in the world because
him and Elon, they're going back. They go
back and forth. So it's just like, okay, dude. And I know you gave the ex-wife a bag. So, but that's cool. I mean, she deserved that, right? But it's just like, dude, whatever the majors are asking for, whatever the fee is, if a company like Mixcloud can pay for that, you mean to tell me a company like Amazon cannot pay for that?
Mm-hmm. I think that is the most strange thing. I don't know if it's because the record labels are like, oh, Twitch is gonna pay for it. Okay, well, let's charge them triple whatever the cost is. Or something, some craziness like that. Or maybe they just can't come to an agreement about what you're supposed to be doing. I don't know what it is, but it's insane that they can't do it or they just don't want to. I
thought those agreements were like a blanket agreement. So it's like if you have to pay like, the licensing fee, I thought you just link up with like the three majors, pay that fee, and this like global.
It should be.
Excuse me.
But I think because it's online and streaming, they've set it up different. It's kind of like Dave Chappelle was saying that he had licensing for his show on network TV, and then they start streaming it on Netflix and stuff like that. And he wasn't getting royalties for it because
that's crazy,
it's a brand new thing that they didn't prepare for. Mm-hmm. And I think online streaming is the same situation where they didn't prepare for it, so they're not ready to have the mechanical rights the way they should. So we get Clown World.
And again, this is their song, right?
Yes, this is their song.
And they were playing their song on a live stream on Twitch.
Which they own the rights to their music. So it's not like Taylor Swift.
Okay, see, that was the next thing I was about to ask. Like, do they own the publishing? Do they own the masters? I mean, is it working out for them?
Metallica owns their stuff.
Okay.
Because Metallica was one of the first people who was screaming about downloading in YouTube.
Oh, they were the ones that were fighting Napster, right?
Yeah, they were the first people to sue Napster,
right,
and fight for their thing because it was their music. Right. It wasn't the labels didn't do. Labels were out of it,
Yeah.
Metallica led the charge about this, and now it bites them in the face some 10, 15 years later. So
Oh my goodness, dude. What is going on? Again,
Mhm.
we spoke about this a few times, but it's just like YouTube is probably the best platform to do live streaming for DJs and musicians and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah,
Twitch, if they got it together, it could be that platform, even though it's really and truly a gaming platform, or for
yeah.
streamers who are doing gaming. But again, I can't imagine these licensing fees costing $100 million. I can't even imagine that.
No, because they had their initial fee or whatever, but they're paying the royalties to it, so they don't even need the money up front for the most part. A lot of the times, you're just continuing to pay whatever. So, I I don't know why they wouldn't have a way to go forward and make licensing for these types of services and stuff like that be okay. I think it's a question of they don't care, so they're just not going to deal with it. Honestly, I think it comes down to they just don't care.
I mean, but they did create like an agreement with smaller labels for
Yeah.
DJs to stream, but you then have to like select specific tracks from
Mhm.
a list of tracks, which is like, well, I don't want to use that track. I have something a little funky, or I want to play. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
but
know, man. Twitch is weird to me.
here's the thing, though. They set up this entire thing so that they can scan the music and then identify the music. So why not just have the little payment on the end? That's the part that they've done all of the hard work already. They've set the algorithm to read it, identify it, separate it, remove it
Mhm.
from the stream if they have to.
Right.
But the payment part is the hard part for them for some reason. And that's the part I don't get. Like there should be a way to be like because they're collecting ads and they're collecting when you like on Twitch, all the people who pay money to say you want to give some money to a Twitch streamer, Twitch
Mhm.
collects money from that,
Right.
and so they're getting a cut. So they have enough money here that's circulating in the Twitch ecosystem
Get
to
it
pay
done.
for the thing. So that it's just a get it done thing. I don't know.
Like with Apple Fitness Plus, when you go through the workouts, they're playing music that you
Hmm.
can then download the playlist or
Yeah.
purchase the music on Apple Music, because they own that ecosystem. They own both Fitness
Hmm.
Plus and also Apple Music. Now, like you were saying, create if someone's playing a song, then show it on a screen. Then if
Hmm.
someone wants to purchase it or listen to it, have them like click that and then go over to Amazon Music. And then it's a
Hmm.
win-win.
Yeah.
It seems
It
so
should
easy.
be. It
Yeah.
seems very easy.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I love about Apple. Apple gets this type of
They
stuff.
get it. They get it, don't
They're
they?
like, "Oh, wait, we can push this over to our other company?
They just get it, man.
Well, let's
I
just
love
do
Apple.
it."
I mean, this sounds weird, but I just love Apple. Just how they just do everything, and just all the like big boy moves they're trying to make. Not trying to make,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
making around privacy. Just like
They there's
it's
there's
cool.
certain things about the internet and this kind of stuff that they grasp.
Yeah,
At the other companies, it's I don't know if it's beyond their purview or they're just lazy or whatever, but Apple's like, "Oh, this is gonna be a problem. Well, let's fix this now and then let's make money from it."
yeah.
And I give them credit for that over any other company. I definitely give them credit for that.
Okay. So I was going to go into a different article, but this is actually a really great time to get into this next article about
Mhm.
Facebook and advertisers, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring that up is because I was well, first of all, let's talk about the article really quick. So basically, Facebook is ripping people off once again.
Yes.
Like,
So Facebook and Google are the 2 largest advertisers in the world.
it's a
These 2
duopoly. Like,
companies
for digital ads, they own.
for digital ads,
So
they
for
own
digital ads, like there is only two players. It's a duopoly. It's a
yeah.
duopoly. It's Google
Between the
and
2
it's
of them,
Facebook.
they own, like it's like I think it's like 90% or 95% of
Right.
all digital ads
Which
on the
is
internet.
about 300, almost $330 billion a year, and
Yeah.
Facebook only makes about 50 billion of that. So, but that's
Yeah.
99% or 90% of like Facebook's revenue anyway. So
Yeah.
Isn't that
So
weird?
we have to have a talk about Sheryl Sandberg. She's a terrible COO. She's really bad at her job.
Yeah.
And she gets all the credit when everything's going great, and then she kind of skirts away when stuff goes south.
I mean,
And
is she a monster or what?
she's responsible for a lot of the shenanigans that's going on at Facebook.
Yeah.
Because the Zuckerberg he's out to lunch. There's certain parts where he'll go up to Congress and he'll take a beating over there, and he comes home and he just brushes off. But Sheryl
You think he
Sandberg
doesn't know
is
what's going on? You think he doesn't like
he
give the
knows
green
what's
light
going
on this
on.
stuff?
Yeah, but like I don't think he approves. Like, here's a perfect example. When it came down to they wanted to ban Trump off the internet, and I want to get into politics, but Zuckerberg was against it, and the rest of Facebook was for it. And
Well,
so
the
he's just like, all right, I
employees
guess we're
really,
doing it. Yeah, the
yeah.
employees were like, I guess we're doing it now. So he's kind of like he's coasting like Jack Dorsey is coasting, where they're running it, but the other people underneath them are running it. Like Twitter has as a Vijaya or something like that. She's a lawyer. She runs Twitter,
Yeah.
and Sheryl Sandberg runs Facebook. And I think Google is the people at the top are actually running Google, and Windows and Apple. The people at the top are running it, but Facebook and Twitter, the underlings are running the company for some reason, and this is where we're at. But like, so they've been basically the article is talking about these guys are fudging the numbers and telling people that the reach is going to be higher for what they're paying for.
Really?
Which is a scumbag. It's a scumbag move when you have a monopoly.
You know, here's the thing, right? And I keep telling people this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a company owns the data, right, they can do anything they want to with the data. They can present specific types of data to you to make it look like whatever you're doing, you know, running ads, let's say on Facebook, that your ads engagement are up when they really aren't, you know, because again, they own the data. They have the ability to manipulate the data. That's just how it works, you know. And again, you know, with Facebook and also Instagram, they're trying to figure out how to run ads on Instagram. They still haven't figured that out yet. But like,
it's terrible.
That's how they make their money. They make their money off of your data, you know, it's free. So again, we're the product. And, you know, it's based on enragement, not really engagement, right? So it's just like, okay, well, we're going to push this ad, or we're going to like take some data away from you, or not give you the proper data so you can like run your campaign properly. It's just like, will there ever be a time when people get together and say, you know what, Facebook really is a menace to society. You know what, let's just stop like using this platform.
Well, I think Facebook did the smart thing and they put their tentacles all over the internet.
Yeah.
And so if it wasn't for
with tracking
Instagram,
you basically.
if it wasn't for Instagram and WhatsApp and all these other companies, Facebook would be MySpace right now, or even worse, Friendster. That's what Facebook would be. Like,
Friendster
realistically,
is big in Brazil, dude.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't be the worldwide phenomenon that they are.
Right.
They're only,
That's true.
Facebook survives off of the fact that you have to use it in some capacity. You know, for a long time, they got their hands into, you know, when you go into a website and you want to leave a comment, they had control over the Facebook login and the comment section.
They did.
And so, you know, you had Discuss and some other things, but like Facebook, they forced you to be a member of Facebook. And then they started making the shadow versions of you. So if you're not logged into Facebook, they have a shadow person of you with all your pictures and all your information, and they're keeping track of that. And then they got into the Instagram, and they got into the WhatsApp and this other stuff. And WhatsApp's a mess now because WhatsApp is going to start tracking people's conversations inside the app, and they're going to get rid of the encryption stuff of WhatsApp. I'm like, what are we doing, Facebook? What's the problem here? So
it's insane, man. You know, I was reading an article where they were saying like Clubhouse, which is now really popular, right? That Clubhouse is about to be a problem because one, the data really isn't encrypted, which is in and of itself strange,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And two, the data infrastructure is based in, wait for it, Shanghai.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So what could possibly go wrong with the data infrastructure being in China and, the Chinese government just owning everything, that's just how that country
So
is,
is Clubhouse TikTok for adults? Is that what it is? Like,
you know,
I mean, as far as gathering your data, because the app,
probably.
the actual app and what it does is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The fact that you're using the app is the important part.
It's not, it's not even about like, right,
Yeah.
And the other thing that is really strange about Clubhouse as well is in order for you to get an invite, someone has to invite you, right?
Yeah.
But in order for you to be able to invite someone, you have to give Clubhouse access to your contacts. And if you said no, then you don't have the ability to invite people.
Yeah. Which is why I think that they went to celebrities first and famous people, and they got them all on board. So people are like, I want to go where the celebrities are.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
not.
they're like, they want to sign up. And here
Listen,
you
for
go.
your entire business model,
Mm-hmm.
to be based on ads, right? So you gather the data and then it's based on ads. And, you also have a lot of control, like you said, maybe even over countries, just like what countries are reading, like, again, putting out misinformation and disinformation, the 2016 presidential election here in America, the Russians paying all this money for ads, yada, yada, yada. It's just like for someone to say, you own the code, you own the database, you own all this stuff, you see it coming through all the time. You do. I mean, it's silly to say you didn't find out until 2 years later. You see this stuff all the time, and so they knew what was going on, and they know what's going on. They know the data that they're pushing to, clients or customers. They know all of this. They have the ability to scrape data. They have the ability to shorten data, to, heighten data. They own it all. I mean, again, if you're 95% of your revenue model is based on ads, you're going to do any and everything you need to do to make sure that model is viable and your shareholders are happy and they are making money. Again, a menace to society.
The other thing too is that if you're scraping all this data, you can keep tabs on when people are going to be worried about you and make sure you squash that out in advance, which is alarming. Everything about it is alarming. But we've made Facebook and Google our overlords. So I mean, this is, you get what you get.
Twitter it's getting nicer, if that makes sense. It's a nicer platform now, but
well, I definitely think that Jack Dorsey doesn't want to be there, and so he's going through the paces right now just to do enough, and as soon as he can get out, he's out.
The word on the street is that it's possible that Twitter could buy CNN. That would be like
I didn't know that.
That would be like a $8 to $10 billion acquisition, right? And then make Twitter a sort of like a paid platform. So basically, you'd have to pay a monthly fee to use Twitter, and there would be some models like if you had less than 10,000 people, then a platform would be free for you. But if you have more than 10,000 people, then you would have to pay like a subscription. So, it would be like a subscription service, which sounds pretty cool. But then they will own the news too, because CNN is like international. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
It kind of makes a lot of sense.
Well, see, the thing is, though, CNN is dying as a company. They've been losing money, bleeding money for a long time. And I think that all of the mainstream media companies, they're trying to come up with a way to survive. Because think about, like, how do you get your news? Not a lot of people sit down every day and watch the news. I think CNN, at one point in time, they're getting it was like 700,000 to 1 million viewers for a show. That is terrible.
Yeah.
When you think about it, that's terrible compared to, what people are getting on YouTube or
even Fox News.
Views. Yeah. just all over all the platforms on Instagram. There's somebody's got a little clip on Instagram. They're getting millions of views just on a little clip on Instagram. So as a news channel, as a news source, people don't sit down and watch your news anymore because we're in a digital age where everything's instant.
It's so many ways to
Yeah.
consume media, right?
Yeah. So like
And
now
sitting
news
down,
is racing to be first.
I was, you know, a lot of like millennials, right? The younger ones,
Mhm.
they don't even have like live streaming, live TV streaming services.
Yeah.
They have like Netflix and
Mhm.
YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah. That's
So
about
they
it.
get all
Yeah.
of their news off of YouTube because it's coming from the news source. It's coming. If you watch Fox News, you can watch Fox News on YouTube.
Clips are on,
If you,
they're on YouTube.
yeah, it's all right there.
Yeah.
You know, CNN, you know, MSNBC, you know, ABC, whatever. You know, like CB. What is the Canadian? What's that Canadian broadcasting CBC? It's
CBC,
on like
yeah.
yeah. It's on like, you know, YouTube as well. You know, BBC. It's on YouTube. It's just like
Everything's on YouTube.
I was gonna say. I often ask myself, because I have a live TV streaming service, YouTube TV. Do I even really need that? There are some like channels I like watching. Like I'm a big military person. I love like military history. So, you know, I like the Smithsonian channel and like Discovery and like, you know, the History channel. But I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I often ask myself, do I really need live TV streaming?
I don't. I find myself, I don't watch a lot of live TV except for sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big football person, so you know the 4 months of football, I'm watching that every weekend. But and some college football too. But outside of that, I don't really care about sports. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch, you know. So that's the only thing that I need to see live. Everything else, I can wait an hour and see what they said then.
Right.
Or I can just go on and check
Watch
on
the
my phone and
highlights.
see what it said. Yeah, I can just see what they said on my phone. Because everyone clips anything anyway. So if you want to see the news, just go to Twitter. The news is on Twitter. Or, you know, like it just doesn't, having broadcast news is not as important as
No.
it was before.
What about local news?
Even local news, I don't watch. I look at, it'll be on TV when in my barbershop. I'll watch that. But like even my barbershop's playing basketball highlights, so
Right.
it's like I don't know. Like I don't see. I don't look at the news of this is vital for me to get from you guys on TV.
Right.
And especially because if I see something on news, I'm like, oh, I need to check that out. I'm gonna go look at another source too. So that's the other factor. I don't just look at the one thing and like, okay, this is CNN said this today. I guess this is it. Like I don't do that. So yeah, my mentality is different.
I was you know, when I sort of cut the cord with cable, I was also missing out on the NFL Network, right? And you know, they just have like on when it's football season, when the season is running, you know, on Sundays they just have like the dopest highlights with the, you know, commentary and everything,
they
right?
play it in the background. I love that.
Right. And so, you know, I had like, you know, when YouTube TV first came up, you know, they didn't have the NFL Network. So I was like, oh, I really want the NFL Network. But they show all the highlights on the NFL YouTube channel, just without the commentary, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, oh, this
I
is
watch
cool.
that now. Honestly, when I want to see what happened in the game, if I couldn't watch it or like, you know, it's blacked
The
out or whatever,
highlights.
I watch the highlights on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have everybody's got the YouTube app on their TV. Everyone's got a smart TV now. Or I just turn my Xbox, fire up YouTube, throw the thing from my phone, cast it onto my TV, and I'm done. I'm laying on the couch.
But yeah, man, crazy story. Facebook, again, a menace to society. And dude, I mean, I just hope, you know, governments definitely here in America, I hope like they just do something to like just break this company up, you know, because it is, Facebook is a dangerous company when it comes to democracy. They are dangerous. I just said that, and I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to your data and stuff like that, they don't have your best interest at heart.
No, not at all.
They're the one company that's like, well, maybe we shouldn't sell this. They're like, nah, we're going to sell it anyway.
Yeah. And here's the
thing, a lot of other companies. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? I'm okay with giving up data. You know, I mean, that's just the price you have to pay. You know, if you're getting this free, that's why they're giving us all this free stuff. You know, But it's
Yeah.
one thing to say, hey, I'm going to give up some data because I want to use this free product. It's another thing to say, like, okay, the data you're giving me, I'm going to turn this around, sell it, and maybe even use it against you.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Facebook has issues, and I think everyone's taking it too lightly on them. Honestly, all of the tech companies, they need to take them more seriously.
Yeah.
If you're a politician and you're sleeping on a tech company, you're a fool, because they technically don't need you anymore.
They don't.
They can pump up, if they're mad at you, they can pump up your opponent running against you.
Oh my,
They're
yeah.
giving money to people that are running against candidates, which is insane to me. They gave money during this last election to candidates that they like. You can't pick sides. You can't.
Dude, well, hey, corporate in America, corporations are people.
Well, yeah.
Citizens United. So that's just how that's how it works, man. It's, again, really interesting. But we will see what happens here. Let's get on to the next piece. And you know what? I mean, here we go, dude. We have like another a beat competition. Really, right? It's a beat competition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting, because we're both producers. I produce the music on my channel. You produce the music on your channel. You put out albums. So like it's I find this kind of competition stuff interesting. Have you been to a beat battle before?
I've been to a beat battle. I've watched beat battles. You can watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them online. Yeah.
We used to, when they had like just open mic nights, the DJs, the producers would come there with their, their new beats, and MCs would like spit lyrics over them. So yeah, that was kind of cool, but it was but that was to be sort of, again, you're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of the culture. It just felt like a lot cooler, because it's dark.
Yeah.
You got the big party speakers, like pumping out bass and everything. So it's a little different. What's interesting about this here is, so if you're a Splice user, I mean, you use Splice?
No, not really. You have to use Serato Studio and Splice.
Yeah.
So they give you, I guess, samples that you're allowed to make the beat out of.
Yeah, it's a sample. It's a Splice sample pack, right?
Yeah, and so you can do your flair onto it, and this is how you get into the finals for the beat thing, which I think is clever. It's kind of like Iron Chef or something like that. Your meal, the flavor today is onions. You got to make a beat out of onions. So this is what it is.
I think what's going to be interesting here, though, is okay, the way that they want you to upload like your track, right?
Yeah,
you've got to upload a screenshot.
You have to film yourself making the beat. And I think that's clever, because people could make beats and like hand it to somebody, like, yo, put that out there.
Right.
So I think that's clever, and I like that the audience is judged by the internet.
Right.
So it's not, you don't have Simon Cowell and some other people that you don't care about are judging your beats. Because I've gone to beat battles and the people judging, I'm like, how are you there? I've done more things in the music industry than you have. Like, how are you judging me? But so, like, it's good that they're leaving it up to the audience to judge on Instagram, and so like it's a wide net, and I think that's probably more fair than 3 people on a panel or whatever. And the prizes are good, like $20,000. That's a good
second
prize.
place is $4,000, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm good.
These are all wins. Like,
yeah,
$1,000 for a beat battle is a solid win. I've seen beat battles where they're like, here's my mixtape and here's some headphones.
Solid win. I mean, $20,000 is pretty cool. Here's my only thing, though, right? So when a lot of when you're on a Mac, even on a PC, sometimes it's difficult to bring in the right audio source so that when you do a screen capture, you're getting the best audio quality, right?
Yeah.
So that may be a problem, so it's just like, okay, you're going to do a screen capture, but you may be getting the audio just from the speakers and the mic coming from your laptop or your computer. So you may not have the best audio quality.
You need to put some effort into planning how you're going to record this.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people don't know, especially because if you're using one of these programs, it's using a audio card or audio
Yeah.
source,
Yeah.
and those require a lot of power. And
Yeah.
people don't know that if you haven't made any beats.
Mhm.
But if you're using a program like Ableton or Cubase or whatever, Logic,
Yeah.
it requires a ton of power using plugins and stuff like that.
Right.
And Serato Studio, it's a little lighter because those programs are like more robust, but it still requires power. So if you're doing your screen capture plus making the beat, your computer could grind to a halt if it's not strong enough. So I think
Now,
you got to
is
keep that in mind.
Serato Studio cloud-based, or you have to download it?
No, it's an app.
Okay, it's an app.
It's an actual app. And
Wow.
I didn't like it when it first came out, and I was
Mhm.
complaining about a lot of the issues in it, and I got roasted for it. But they made
You got
changes based on my
flamed, huh?
recommendation. Well, because people, this is a problem with the internet. Nobody checks the dates on these things.
Right.
When I made the video, it was when it first came out, and I
And
used it for a week, and I was like, "Well, this is trash."
it's
And I said,
buggy.
"Why this is trash?"
Yeah.
And then they made it better. But the people who after it made it better was like, "Oh my god, you're not paying attention to what happened. Like, you check the date,
Yeah,
check
it's
the date."
buggy. It's just like it's brand new. It's buggy. So it's
Yeah,
actual. It's like an iPad app or like a phone app, or
it's
is
a,
it
no,
just like
it's a desktop. It's a desktop
desktop?
app. But
Okay.
the problem that I had and was a really sticking point for me is that you had to rent it. You couldn't buy it flat
I
out.
remember that early on you had to rent. I mean, like
Yeah.
rent. Here's the other thing, right? So I know this is a free version, but how do you get the Splice the beat pack off of Splice? I know they have like a 14-day free trial or something like that, but
Yeah.
that basically means that you know what, you may have to pay that $7.99 to
It's going to
get
cost you
in.
some money. It's going to cost for sure. It's going to cost you money to do this.
Right.
I don't know if the current version doesn't allow you to export, but the old one did. You couldn't export if you didn't pay for it,
Yeah.
and there were some limitations with the app. But you're gonna most likely you're gonna have to pay for something to get the full benefit of this.
Yeah, Splice is
So
cool. You can I mean, even with the free version, when I tried it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you can download, whatever you had, you placed in your folder or whatever, your
yeah,
credits. I think you get like 100 credits for like the $7.99. And I actually ended up purchasing it like for about 3 or 4 months. I just wasn't using it a lot because I was like, I kind of like to just think of things like myself and then like go into my studio and try to like, just pimp out what I'm thinking about, like just straight off the
yeah.
dome,
I don't like. This is the thing. Like, it is a cool feature to be able to chop up and do some stuff on your DJ software,
Right.
but it's not robust, and because it's in your DJ software or it's adjacent to your DJ software, you can't do the things that like how I make music and like, well, I want to record vocals. Well, I can't do that on this. I want to have somebody play bass, guitar or something on it. Can't do that on this. I want to share the MIDI with somebody else and have the like. It's limited to the basic chopping up of a sample and maybe put some
Right.
drums on there.
Changing the
And
pitch. So, doing all
yeah,
that stuff
just
is
the
just like,
basics.
yeah.
It's very limited. So I think it's a good entry point to get into production, but if you want to like do it professionally, you can't
Yeah.
use Serato Studio. And I know like there's famous people like Jazzy Jeff was talking about, oh, Serato Studio is
Well, I
amazing.
mean, they
I
probably
love
gave him a
I
big
love
bag
Jazzy
too,
Jeff,
though,
right?
right?
I love Jazzy Jeff, right? But he co-signs a lot of stuff.
I
And
mean, he co-signed what the next topic we're about to talk about, just like, but hey, again, he's a really popular, he's a big DJ, he's like a legend,
very famous. He's a legend.
yeah, he's a legend, and I mean, companies want his endorsement, and they're gonna give him a bag to do that. He's not free, he's not cheap,
No. And so the thing is, though, I'll never be mad at somebody getting the bag. Like, you
never.
get your money. I'll never stop you. Like, no, dude, you
Right.
can't do that.
I mean, not
Never. I
unless
will
it's like
never
totally
support this.
illegal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
boy who was just doing the whole payola thing. It's just like, why are you doing that? It's just like, no, you can't get a bag that way. If you're like a personality, like you said, a legend, like a Jazzy Jeff, like, dude, get your bags. You know what I'm saying? For real. I mean, who cares, right?
Yeah. So like Yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I can this $20,000 though, dude. This is like, this joint. This will come in handy for real. I'm like, what can I do with 20 G's right now for real? But again, second prize for 4,000. Man, that is pretty awesome. I mean, sometimes when you go to the beat battles like pre-COVID, first prize was 500. Second prize was like
Yeah.
250. Third prize was like 100. So it's just like,
It was
okay,
peanut.
yeah,
It was
even
literal
like
peanut.
500, on a really good evening, you may spend $500 on drinks, a happy hour or something like
Exactly.
that. You just with a bunch of friends, obviously,
Yeah.
it's still like
My brother,
$100. Yeah,
my
it's
brother used to call
crazy.
it sneaker money. That's
That's it.
sneaker money.
I
Right?
call it happy hour money.
Yeah. You're not gonna. It's not gonna change your life.
Yeah,
20,000. You could do some stuff with that, but $100, 250. Like you're not gonna do much with that. Like
no,
that's
no, 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 no.
nothing.
You're not going to do anything with that. I mean, but yo,
Yeah.
20,000, 4,000, even 1,000, I mean,
Hmm.
$1,000, you could just take that like and invest in some more DJ equipment or studio equipment, upgrade
You
what
could
you're
actually buy
using.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20,000, you can redo your whole studio.
Hmm.
Get
Yeah.
some analog gear, get some better monitors, whatever it is you need,
Hmm.
So that's a pretty good prize. But I will say this, right? Even though it's just like, hey, the internet is going to, be the judge of like who
Hmm.
wins or whatever. Like, again, we're talking about data, right? So it's
Yeah.
just like,
It depends
really?
on
Is that
who's
true?
watching.
Yeah. Is that
It
really
depends on
true?
who gets to see it and what kind of music they like.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
it depends on a lot of stuff. And I think that from my experience going to beat battles, the things that I thought should win didn't win at all.
Yeah.
And the people were clearly better than the other people. They didn't win because there's a lot of it's like a pity party almost.
Hmm.
There was somebody, and I'm not going to talk about like who it was, but there is somebody who's making beats, and it's like their first time making beats, and they were clearly terrible,
Really.
but they got further along than somebody
Hmm.
who's making better
Right.
stuff
Right. Right.
because they're like, "Oh, look at you! You're making you're so adorable because you're so young and you're making beats. Good for you!" Like it's like
Yeah.
that, and like I don't respect that, man. You should be it should be an all out battle where we're crushing people. Like
Right. 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 It's a good
there's a
thing
lot
though,
there.
man. It
Mhm.
gives people, some of these producers, something to do. While we're on lockdown, it's cool. Even if
Yeah.
you don't win, even first, second, or third. I mean, at least you're doing something. You're putting something out there creatively. You're thinking
Mhm.
about doing something. That's pretty cool. I like that aspect of it. So I'm okay. I'm all in
Mhm.
with this one.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing. So
Well, listen. Until next time, I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
Thanks for checking us out. Peace.